Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the co-owner and creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about how to have the "what are we" conversation with an anxiously attached individual. And so you'll see as a part of this series, when we talk about how to have this conversation with different attachment styles, that there are different really important points to become aware of and different intentions you want to have going into these conversations, basically to maximize the benefit that this is going to have on the relationship dynamic that you find yourself experiencing. So we will dive into all of that. We'll talk about that. Before we do, I just want to let you know we are almost closing out our Black Friday sale where we have amazing sales going on. So please check out the link in the description box below. If you want access to some of the school, the lifetime memberships are super on sale, as well as some other products for Black Friday. So please feel free to check that out. Let's talk about this. So first and foremost, I decided to make this series because I get asked this question so many times by so many different individuals in different forms. And I'll say this for every part of this series because it's really important. It is not your job to walk on eggshells to meet somebody else's needs. If you want to have this conversation, you should feel like you can have this conversation. We have to honor our needs and be really clear about what we want in order to go into this conversation in the healthiest way possible. And that will only benefit you long term. But we can basically balance that by also being aware that somebody else has a different set of subconscious programs. They have different personality needs, they have different fears, pain points, beliefs about how things should go, different subconscious expectations they bring into a relationship. So our job is to be really clear about what we want and to super honor that as first priority. And second priority, in a way, is to make sure that we're also mindful that different people have different paces they want to move, different needs that they have in a relationship dynamic. I talk a lot about this in our advanced attachment style courses, where we talk about all these different programs and expectations that come up in each of the 6 stages of a relationship. But some of this is fairly clear in the dating phase. Like, often we're going to have a dismissive avoidant who wants to move a lot more slowly because their fears come up and they want to take their time to commit. And we're going to have somebody who's anxious who really wants to get their needs met and is going to be in this dynamic. And so we want to sort of be in a space where we are able to balance whatever your individual programs and needs and expectations are, and to get really clear about those ahead of time so that you can best benefit as you're going into this conversation. And to also be mindful of somebody else's pace and not to personalize if there's a difference between yourself and somebody else. So when you're going into this conversation with an anxious, preoccupied individual, one of the big differences that we'll see here is it's very important for you as the potential partner long-term of an anxious, preoccupied individual is to 100% make sure you're ready for a commitment and you're ready to have clear conversations to establish boundaries for what a healthy non-codependent relationship looks like for both of you. Something I often see that takes place is, an anxious, preoccupied is usually an amazing person. They're usually like very charismatic and charming and really easy to connect with and lots of fun and have a big heart. And so they have all these amazing qualities. And so sometimes in the dating phase, things will sort of kick off really well. Then, a person will go in thinking, yeah, I'll make a commitment, but not necessarily ready to do the work behind that commitment, to have the tough conversations, to be clear about one another's needs and expectations, to, bring things to the surface and have the information about one another that need to be discussed. And so sometimes what I'll see is somebody will jump into a relationship with an anxious, especially an FA or even sometimes a secure, and then they'll feel a lot of that codependency that can come out of anxious attachment style, and a lot of that like over reliance to a certain degree. And instead of thinking, hey, let's talk about boundaries, hey, let's have a conversation, let's establish like how we have different programs here, somebody will just go, oh, this is too much, and break off the relationship. So one of the things that you want to be really clear about as you have this conversation is to talk about healthy needs and expectations, because you can save yourself so much time by saying something like, hey, I'm really interested in pursuing a relationship further with you. I've thought a lot about this and I hope you're on the same page. But I want us to still have healthy balance in the relationship to ourselves and to maintain healthy independence, so that we can have interdependence, this closeness with one another, and also that sense of self at the same time. And would you be open to moving towards something more serious? But let's talk about like what that looks like for both of us and what we need and what we expect. And by doing that ahead of time and establishing that precedent in a way in your relationships, especially this relationship with an anxious, preoccupied individual, you save yourself so much time and energy and effort that could otherwise be spent on obstacles that might come up later, or doubts that could come up because you might feel like there's too much closeness and you fear losing your sense of self, or whatever else might come up for you based on your own individual programs. So really important to introduce that dynamic when you have this conversation. It sets the tone for everything else to come, and is definitely an important sort of component in here in terms of navigating the future life cycle of the relationship with the anxious preoccupied. So I hope that makes lots of sense. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments below. Thank you for watching and for being here. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.